Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Entrepreneur's Journey. I am Andy Bryan, and today I'm delighted to bring to you another incredible journey and story from another very inspiring entrepreneur. She's got a very personal and deep story to share with you today. And the title of the show is about coming out of the shadows. And today we've got Kim Wymer sharing her story. Kim Wymer, for those of you who don't know, she's an author of her book and story, the Out of the Shadows, the book, and she's also a children's book author. Can I say that?
Well, illustrator.
Yeah. Fantastic. And what was the book you've just released called? It's Dodger the Dog, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's Dodger the Dog. It's a journey. My friend Karen wrote the book about her two. It's about Staffordshire Bull Terriers because they get ill treated, they get put down. They get a bad name, and really it's the humans that make them like that. So it's like a good, positive children's story that teaches values, teaches about love. It teaches about environmental issues, and we've got like. Our other dog is involved as well, and our other dog is deaf, so it's teaching about disabilities. There's lots of teachings in the book, so it's really a good message. Yeah,
I love it, and I believe each and every story we read, whether it's a children's book, whether it's even an adult film, you could say. Not adult film. I didn't mean adult film because we don't learn a lot from them. But what I mean to say was, films like Lord of the Rings or Avatar and things like that, there's so much hidden meaning in those films that we can take away, and especially from children's books. I think it's fantastic to pass on an incredible message through a children's book.
Start young, plant that seed. So they're our next generation. So we need a positive generation for the future. So it's all about love and values. Actually,
fantastic. And Jim Carrey wrote a book recently, which made me think of your book because it's got a hidden meaning, and I'd never realised you had such a deep hidden meaning within it. And he wrote a book called the Wave That Roared.
And that's new.
I think it's a couple of years old now. I haven't read it. I was trying to get it for my niece, but I thought I'd share that with you. So,
okay.
So as we jump into your journey and story, and as you share your journey from moving out of the shadows, tell me a bit more about yourself before we get started, and who you are and what you do before we jump into your story.
Who I am? I'm a positive thinker. I'm a coach, and I specialise in positive thinking. We call ourselves positive empowerment coaches. I'm not a life coach. I'm not a business coach. That is my speciality. That's my niche. So I teach simple tools and techniques to help other people get their happiness back, because life happens, challenges come in, stuff happens to us, and we can hit rock bottom and not get up from that. So to study the positive thinking and the mindset is so important, and that's what happened to me, and that's what I teach now. Yeah.
Definitely. Fantastic, and we're going to hear from your story today that it's not always been a happy and joyful time, and I think that's what's great about each and every entrepreneur. We've all had our dark times, we've all had our shadow, and it's about moving out of that shadow. As we look back on your journey and story from the very beginning, we look at your original world where you started your adventure, you wanted to make the shift and the change. What was your shadow moment? What was the difficult time that you were going through that led you on your journey to seek this happiness?
Lots of different things was going on. Lots of different things. How can I say? I had a job. I worked in Asda's. I worked in a supermarket, and I worked there for like 17 years because I had so many self-limiting doubts, self-limiting beliefs. I told myself I was no good to do anything else, and I'd only ever work in Asda's forever. That's what I told myself. And if you tell yourself something enough, you're going to get that. You get what you're focusing on, you get what you're telling yourself. So I stayed there for 17 years, and I don't know, I just sort of like went a bit wonky for a few months, and I started to rebel against everything. I did have a drinking problem as well, because that was numbing the pain. I was in a really unhappy marriage. My parents, I did file for divorce, and as I was filing for divorce, my sister, who was my very best friend, she emigrated to Australia, and I couldn't believe that was happening. And I needed my sister around me at that time. And she went within a few months. My parents went to live in Spain. And basically, I just lost the plot, really. And I just sort of like really stuck to the drinking. And it was all going wrong. And I hit rock bottom. I had lots of debt. I was in a lot of debt. I had teenage children. I had a mortgage. I was just like eating beans on toast, and, living day to day and not knowing what was going to happen next. So I had this boyfriend as well. I had a boyfriend that I was with at the time as well, and I believe that if he hadn't have come in at that time, that all that was going on, then I don't think I would have been here today, because he sort of like helped me through those bad times at that time. I believed that at the time. So
if I was to ask you, then obviously you had the difficult experiences that led you, going through difficult circumstances. Was there a time when before you met your boyfriend at that time, that you were seeking your own happiness and you wanted to get out of this hole, but you didn't know what to do, you didn't know where to go?
Yeah, I was trying to seek my own happiness. I was feeling so sad and low through being in an unhappy marriage that I suppose I rebelled at that time, and I went back to my teenage years. I think I went backwards, because I'd missed out on my teenage years, where I'd like got married so young and grabbed onto the first partner so young. I felt that I missed out on my teenage years. So in my mid-30s, I went back to my punky days and my goth days. I went backwards. I went back to it, and I was smoking and I was drinking and I was going to all the gigs, and it was keeping me happy for a while. It was keeping me going. Me and my husband had just sort of like, we was living separately in the house, and he was doing his own thing. I was doing my own thing, and I was just trying to find my outlet, and I didn't know what it was. I thought it was drinking and smoking and going to punk gigs at the time. I didn't know. I didn't have any goals or dreams or anything. So that's what I was clinging on to.
That's okay. So if we look at, you met your boyfriend at the time, and you were going through this rocky stage and rebelling again, like you said earlier. And once you met this person and he came into your life, what happened and what changed from that moment and led you into this journey even further into your adventure?
Because I met my husband so young, I was 16 and he was 26. I met him so young. I just sort of like clung on to him because I suppose I wanted someone to love me. Maybe I didn't feel loved enough when I was younger. Maybe I had that feeling. So the first one that came along and showed me any attention, I've clung to him for dear life, because it's nice to get attention. But I don't think I fell in love because I think I was too young to know what love was. Yeah. But when the boyfriend came along later on in life, I fell in love with him instantly, straight away, and it hit me like a bolt of lightning. Yeah. And then I felt love, and I felt it was just like really weird. It was a mad feeling. I'd never felt anything like it, and that sparked me. That gave me a spark of life. Yeah. And I don't know, I just came alive. Excellent. Really, and that's how it all started.
It's interesting, those experiences that you go through, that when you're in this state, when you're in this low place, and something triggers you instantly, and
it was a trigger.
Something changes just dramatically. So that led you on to seeking your own happiness. What changed from then on, and what did you then seek, and what did you then learn throughout your journey?
What, from the boyfriend?
From the boyfriend, or even like going into your empowerment coaching and the learning. So moving away from your old situation and creating this new life for yourself.
Yeah. Once I was divorced and had this boyfriend, and after a couple of years, it got a bit of a pattern. A bit of a pattern was going on, and he wasn't like pulling his weight, and he didn't seem as loved up as I was, if you like, you know. And I don't know, it seemed to sort of like, first of all, it was like brilliant. It was all going up and up and up. After a few years, it was like leveling out. And then it started going downwards. And I was still trying. I felt that I was still, you know, in love. I would have took a bullet for him at the time, you know. I was sort of like besotted. It seemed that he wasn't. And I sort of like disbelieved it. I didn't want to believe that was happening. But I remember thinking, I don't know whether this is going to work out. You know, like deep in my subconscious, I was thinking, I don't know whether this is right, because he was a lot younger than me as well.
Yeah.
You know, and I was thinking about this all the time. I was thinking, I don't think this is going to work out. I can't see it. It's going to go wrong. And basically, as well, I got what I told myself.
Yeah.
I got more of what I was focusing on again, you know, and the inevitable happened. What I didn't want to happen did happen. You know, so we ended up splitting up, and then I found myself on my own. Then I was able to work on myself whilst I was on my own, and you know, find out, I suppose, who I was and what I was capable of, because I was always with someone. You know, I was always with only two men, but I was always with them. I'd never actually been on my own. I didn't really know much about myself, so I had to work on myself, and things started to change again. Then things started going up again. It's like a roller coaster, up and down over life.
I think that's a good place as well. Just looking at that when you're on your own and you're seeking to understand yourself, that is when you look into the depths of your shadow. You know, you go into your cave. You really find out about yourself. So, what was your biggest learning there in terms of creating your own happiness and you know, finding your own empowerment, so you can empower yourself and now obviously empower others?
Well, you saying shadow, the reason I called the book Out of the Shadows is because I was really shy, unconfident. You know, I wouldn't stand up and speak. I would hide behind people. You know, I was in the supermarket, where I worked in a supermarket. I was behind the counters. You know, I was like behind all the time. I'd never show out. I'd never put my hand up. That's why I called it Out of the Shadows, because as I learned about myself, as I was started to look up about positive empowerment, positive thinking, personal development and all that, I started to come out of my shell a little bit more, because I started to learn some tools. You know, and that was the beginning of realising how powerful we are as human beings, actually. Empowerment. And the more I looked into that, the more I knew I had to push myself out of my comfort zone so much. Otherwise, I was going to just keep getting the same results, doing the same thing. So I had to really do some scary things. To me, it was scary.
So if we look at those scary things that you did, what were the scary things that you did, and what are the biggest things you learned from those experiences?
The scary things I did was wanting to do public speaking, because that was and is most people's biggest fears in life. Is definitely, as you know, either public speaking. People would rather die than stand up and speak in front of people, and I couldn't do that. And I thought, if I can do that, I can do anything. So it took me a good year and a half to actually pluck up the courage to do a talk to people and arrange it. And oh my God, I've never been so scared in my life. So I've done scary things. I've jumped out of an aeroplane. Once I'd done that talk, I thought, oh my God, I can do anything. You know, now I'm gonna book a charity thing where I'm gonna jump out of a plane there, and actually it wasn't as scary as I thought. It wasn't as scary. It was more scary to stand up and speak.
And it's interesting. Yeah. I had that fear as well. I had that fear of getting up on stage, you know, and that, you know, and it is such a big fear for people. So that was your biggest learning, and how did that? How did that empower you, and how did that help you in regards to your business and helping to empower others?
Well, I know I was giving out a positive message, and I know it's helping other people, and that I think that's one of my passions, is to help other people, because I do not want people to go through what I went through.
Yeah.
I know lots more people have gone through many worse things than I have, but I don't want them to go through any bad things. So if they know they can get out of it by thinking in a different way, if you think in a different way, you're going to act in a different way, you're going to get totally different results in your life.
Definitely.
So, what was the question again? We're all around the houses then.
No, I think that was fine, definitely, as an answer. So, one of the other questions then, you talk about your physical journey and in terms of overcoming your obstacles of public speaking and getting up on stage and becoming empowered in that way. Obviously, you had your emotional journey where you went through some difficult experiences with your divorce and even with that boyfriend at the time, where you could say in some ways you might have lost yourself. Would you say that would be a fair sort of?
That I lost myself.
You know,
when I was going through them emotional journeys.
Yeah.
You're not yourself. You're worrying and stressing about everyone else and what they're thinking and what they're doing. I think you do lose yourself.
Yeah.
You can't think straight. It's too emotionally upsetting, and
yeah,
we're ruled by our emotions.
So how did you shift from? How did you shift from that feeling into this positive feeling and the positive emotion that you live by each and every day today?
It took a while. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not a quick, easy shift that's going to happen like that. It's daily work.
Yeah.
There's tools and techniques that you use to help you to get over your fears, to help you to think in a different way, to help you understand and drop the negative limiting beliefs. It takes time. It's a daily process. It's not gonna. How did I shift? Daily work. If I was
to ask them, what was your? I know it's a day-to-day thing, and we always have to do things on a day-to-day basis to achieve that level of happiness within ourselves. But if there's one thing that you could pass on as a tool and a technique for people to begin creating that, what would it be? Would you say?
Ooh, there's many. What can I say? I'd say emotional freedom technique.
Yeah.
Or EFT or tapping.
Yeah.
Because it calms you down. And when you're calm, you can focus. You know, I couldn't focus on anything. I didn't know whether I was coming or going. I was like making wrong decisions. I was really unfocused. And EFT, whether you believe it or not, definitely works. And even if you feel that you don't need it, you know, you might wake up wrong one day. You might wake up and you haven't had enough sleep one day. You might have an headache. You might not feel balanced or whatever. So still do it every day, whether you need it or not, because it totally balances you out and then you feel calm and focused. It's a brilliant tool.
Definitely.
Definitely recommend it.
I mean,
do you do it, Andy? Do you ever practice
I have
it?
done EFT in the past, and I haven't practiced it enough, I must admit, with myself. But only today, actually, there was an article on Facebook that I saw, and it was confirming that there are meridian points within the body. And EFT is accessing those meridian points to de-stress ourselves, isn't it? So.
Yeah, it's unblocking the emotions, get blocked in your meridians, and as you're tapping on them points, them emotions they're unblocking. Yeah. And then you're calm and the energy's running around your system freely again. It's absolutely fabulous.
And it works in many different ways as well, doesn't it? It's like acupuncture, and I'll admit I'm not keen on trying acupuncture.
I'd rather tap it than stab a needle in it, wouldn't you?
But acupuncture is supposed to be incredible as well, and it's a different technique. But
it's ancient remedies, ancient therapies that have just went out because of all the chemical stuff came in 100 years ago, and it seemed to sort of fade out. But it's coming in again. It's coming in. It's important.
Yeah. So if we look at your bigger shifts, so you've done your public speaking, you've got your empowerment through public speaking. You've learned how to create more happiness and fulfillment within your life by the techniques and tools you've learned within your coaching and development. Was there a time when you started applying all of these things and it's sort of everything shifted in your life? It was a strange thing, but possibly everything shifted and you were like, wow, everything's sort of changed now and I see myself differently, possibly.
Yeah. Because I wanted to work on myself in a lot of different ways, even down to losing weight. eating healthily, getting my hair cut, changing my wardrobe.
Yeah.
You know, because I wore black for 20 years, totally head to toe black hair, black makeup, everything. I changed absolutely everything. Had all my hair cut off. Changed my makeup. Worked on my mind, the way I was thinking, and moved home and had different friends and everything. It was a total turnaround because I knew I had to get away from my old life.
Yeah.
You know, so it was a lot of work, but I wanted it because no one's going to be able to change it other than me, and I wanted to change badly.
Definitely.
I really wanted change.
So what would you say that moment was? Obviously, you went through all of those big changes, but was there a moment internally when you said to yourself, "Look, I've got it now. This is I finally got it.
You got it, and you never want to go backwards because it's too easy. Obviously, challenges are going to come in all the time, and they do. You know, challenges come in, but it's your attitude towards that, and how are you going to handle it now? I'm not saying I don't get challenges because I do. I'm human. Of course, I get challenges, and sometimes you feel like giving up, and sometimes things don't come quick enough, and you think, well, should I give up then? But then signs come in and telling you not to give up, and things inspire you. You overhear conversations from people, and they're sort of like you're getting signs from all different ways, and I really believe in that, and I take it all on board, and you know you're getting helped from somewhere. I call it the universe. I believe the universe is, we are the universe, so we're getting helped, and it's having that awareness to notice all that guidance.
Definitely. So what was that defining moment, would you say, in your life?
What, when I knew I'd had it all?
Yeah. And how did that make you feel afterwards?
That defining moment in my life when I knew I had it all. Just when I'd moved on, really. And just when I knew, it's a gut feeling. It's an intuition thing that you know.
Yeah.
And that you know you're never going to go back. You can't go backwards.
Yeah. I love it.
I don't know whether there's a particular point, because it sort of like seemed to smooth along slowly but surely, and there wasn't here it is. It wasn't there yesterday, but it's here today. It wasn't like that. I don't know. It was just continuous flow.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, keep going forward.
But it's like you like you said, you get that internal feeling like you've finally reached that destination in some way or form. You know, you finally found that happiness and fulfillment in a physical sense as well as an emotional sense.
Coming out of the fear was the biggest thing. Yeah.
And it's interesting you say that, and I'll reference it. I'll reference the film here because I thought this was really interesting. You said that because within the Matrix, Neo goes to see Morpheus, and he offers him the blue pill and the red pill, and he says, "If you take this path, there is no turning back. You can't go back. You can't unlearn. There's this whole expansive universe out there, and it's waiting there for you." And it's amazing. Like when you embarked on your journey, you can never see yourself going back now, can you?
No. No. You have to keep on thinking positively and giving yourself the inner self-talk that it's all going to be fine, it's all going to work out. You know, you're going to get there. There's a solution to absolutely everything, and you just got to be calm and focused enough to notice it and give yourself your own answers.
We haven't spoken about specific people in your life that have supported you and, you know, given you guidance. If I was to ask you, were there any mentors in your life? Were there any people with inspiration and motivation that give you those guidance through those challenges, through those obstacles, through those down times, you know, to lift you up? Who were those people?
There's a lady called Sue Stone. She was my mentor. She taught me all the positive thinking tools and techniques. That's the lady who I met in the first place. I read her book. I saw her book on Amazon when I was searching for positive thinking books. I didn't know what to read. I didn't know where to start. Her book came up on Amazon, and I chose her book because she looked like my mum and my sister, and they're the ones who left me to go abroad. And I thought, oh my God, she really looks like her, so I've got to read that one first. Then I emailed her to say, oh my God, your book was fantastic. It was easy to read. It really was easy to read. when you read like and you see the word quantum science and quantum physics, you think, oh, I'm never going to be able to read that. But no, she explained it so simply in simple terms. It was amazing. So I emailed her and said, brilliant. Things started progressing. Went on her course and then became one of her coaches. So in my eyes, that was a miraculous thing to happen, because I was just like, well, I worked in Asda's for 17 years, you know, and now I'm a coach and everything's changed. So she was my mentor. And then I've got a fantastic friend, a business coach of mine, called Karen G. She is a fantastic business coach as well. She's another one of my mentors, you know. So 2 ladies, but also it led me down a spiritual path, like finding out about positive thinking in the universe, and leading me down a spiritual path got me into meditation. So I went on meetup.com. I didn't know how to meditate. I was YouTubing it, and I joined meditation groups. And I met so many open-minded friends that have helped me along the way as well. Who, you know, meeting like-minded people is excellent. And being involved in a networking company as well, I come across fantastic people all the time that are really helpful. Because if you keep saying, I always meet the right people to help me in my life, they come in.
Yeah.
They do. They show up. They come in.
What I find is remarkable. I shared a few posts online earlier about, you know, taking our own journey and path, and our journey is our journey as an individual. You know, we can't take that away from ourselves. That is us. That's our journey and path. But I don't believe we can walk our journey and path alone. I believe there are individuals, there are people in our life that are there to guide us, are there to support us. And we need to lean on them in some way or form, whether that is Sue Stone or you said Karen G, you said as well. You know, those people are there to support you and help you grow, which is fantastic.
Definitely fantastic. I love them to bits.
And I use this phrase quite a lot, and I haven't shared it actually before, but I always usually say to myself, it doesn't matter what you do, but what it does matter is who you are, because once you know who you are and understand yourself, that's when you show up to be who you're meant to be in some way or form, and that's when you show up to be your best. And I love that. You know, it doesn't matter your background. It doesn't matter where you come from. But what matter is, you know, connecting with yourself and finding your own happiness and fulfillment. You know.
Yeah, and if you can help others, it's even better.
Definitely. So as we reach the end of your journey, if I was to ask you, who are you now and what do you do, but based on the journey that you've gone through,
who am I now and what do I do based on the journey I've been through? That rhymes.
I'll work on that.
Who am I now and what do I do? I am a person who likes to help other people on their journey. I like to see people happy, because when you're in that high vibration of happiness and you're shining that out to the universe, you're going to attract more of that. And I believe that we all deserve to be happy. We all deserve happiness in our life, you know, and the key is trying to keep the vibration high. I think that's the most important thing. And that's what I do. I try and keep people's vibrations high.
Excellent.
Yeah, and try to be the best that I can be.
Definitely. And obviously, that's all come from your own, you know, unhappiness, you could say, in the past, you know.
I'll say I was lost. Maybe. Or I hadn't woken up. And now I feel that I've woken up.
So, in a way, would you say you like to help people wake up and find themselves through their
because sometimes I think when people overanalyze and they drive themselves mad and they hold on to bitterness and resentment and they don't understand and they blame the world or they blame whatever, they blame God, which is just a label, you know, and they blame everyone else. I feel really compassionate for them people, and I just want to give them love and teach them all the tools so that they can realise
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be like this. You don't have to think like this. You can have an easier time in your life, and you can attract good things to yourself. But you can't make people change. You know, they have to want to change. So you can't force people. You have to want to do it.
Definitely. No, I love it. And again, on towards the end of each and every hero's journey, you've got the death and resurrection. You know, the death and resurrection of who we are as individuals, breaking free from those old patterns, old conditions, and rebirthing a new you. So would you say you completely rebirthed a new you within this process? And how does it feel to have that now for yourself?
Yeah, I feel I've rebirthed a new me, but I still think I've got a lot to learn.
Yeah.
And I'm always up for knowledge, and knowledge is power. Knowledge is power for your own self. You know, we're learning all the time, and there's so much more to learn. I am a different person to what I was.
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely got a lot more love to give, and I believe that's what life is all about. And yeah, I've still got a lot more to learn, really.
If there was one quote that you could pass on in terms of your empowerment and coaching, what would that quote be? And sorry if I put you on the spot here.
Well, there's a few. Obviously, the Henry Ford. If you think you can, or if you think you can't, either way you're right. I know that's a really popular one. Or if you carry on doing what you're doing, you're going to get more of what you've already got.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a Gandhi one as well, about visualizing. A man is just the products of his thoughts, so what he thinks he becomes. So that was very cool. You asked me for one, I'll give you three.
That's okay. They were all great, and I love the Gandhi one. I've never remembered the Gandhi one. It's brilliant, isn't it? So.
It is, though, and it's so true. If you think about what you want, it's going to come to you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And finally, where can we find out more about yourself and your work?
I've got a website called kimwymer.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's KIMWYMER, kimwymer.com. And I'm on LinkedIn as well. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. Happy Days Coaching on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I'm on Twitter, empowering at empowering Kim.
Fantastic. Well,
Thank you.
Well, I'll make sure all of your links are below on this video, whether people are watching this on YouTube, iTunes, where they'll have your links to access yourself and your work, and make sure to connect with Kim. So.
Oh, thank you so much.
And is there any other passing message you'd like to pass on to anybody listening today? Any
passing message? Yeah, make sure everybody loves each other and sends out love in their thoughts, because you're going to get more of that back. Yeah. I've got a couple of books out at the moment. I don't know whether am I allowed to plug my books at all? I know we spoke about it earlier. My book is called Out of the Shadows. That's this one. It's on Amazon, and it's about my personal journey. Yeah. And I think it will hopefully help people to know that you can get out of a rut. You can get out of a rut. It's not the end. And I've also got another book which I illustrated called How I Became Dodger Dog, and it's all about values and love as well for young children. So thank you very much. And
they're all available on Amazon, aren't they?
They're available on Amazon under my name, Kim Wymer. Yeah.
Fantastic. And you can also purchase them from anywhere around the world, I'd imagine, as well.
Yeah, I suppose you can. Yeah, excellent. On Amazon.
Excellent. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today, sharing your word of empowerment, you could say, and sharing your story about moving out of the shadows. You know, it's
oh, thank you so much. It's lovely to speak to you. Thank you. And I love that picture behind you.
Thanks.
It's lovely. You look like an angel.
The entrepreneur.
Like an angel sitting there.
Well, I try. Anyway, thank you for being a guest, and thank you all for listening in again. We will be with you all again soon. And with that, I'll say goodbye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
The Entrepreneur's Journey. Create your empowering business story. interviewing successful entrepreneurs from around the world to share their inspiring journey to success. Tune in live every week for your weekly dose of inspiration. Visit www.theentrepreneur'sjourney.tv for previous episodes.